Since coming to Los Angeles, Russell Westbrook has unfortunately become victim to a ridiculous amount of slander. Notice that I didn't say criticism. Criticism is criticism. It's valid, it's usually constructive. More or less, it serves a purpose. Slander, well, slander is a bit different. According to the best source on the planet, Google, slander is the act or crime of making a false-spoken statement that is damaging to a person's reputation.
Quickly, this is Russell Westbrook on display last night turning the basketball.
What was that?
That's just crazy.
Look at this.
I'll never forget that at one point there were really reports of Westbrook being a vampire that was sucking the life out of the Lakers locker room. I will never sit here and say that Westbrook was close to being the star that he was traded to be for the Los Angeles Lakers. That's not happening. I can easily admit that this marriage was ugly and reflected poorly for both sides. But I will say this, the slander did reach a level that was so out of control to where you could see that it was visibly affecting him on the court. This would fuel complaints off of the court and sort of create this vicious cycle that kept repeating itself while getting worse until it would meet its eventual end. And this sucked to see. This was Russell Westbrook we were talking about. An MVP, a legend, a guy that got so many triple doubles that you got tired of hearing about it. For me, Westbrook is easily one of the most electric point guards to ever play the game of basketball.
Westbrook exploding and destroying the rim.
Now, what if I told you that since joining the Los Angeles Clippers, that Russell Westbrook has not only looked like a more valuable player despite the numbers falling, but also he's just been happier in general, while being everything that they could ask for out of a player while making virtually nothing relative to his last contract. But first, today's content is brought to you guys by Aura. Guys, let's be real. Anybody can find anything on the internet and it sucks. They can find your full legal name, your personal email, your home address, phone number, and even your relatives. This information is accessible because of data brokers who profit by selling your info to robocallers, telemarketers, spammers, and really just anybody that wants to learn about you. That's why I'm excited to tell you guys about today's sponsor, Aura. Aura will identify that brokers are exposing your information and automatically submit opt-out requests on your behalf. They'll even opt you out of junk mail and telemarketing lists while also making sure that they're on top of any potential credit or identity theft. Scan the QR code or use my link in the description below to see if any of your personal information is being leaked online. You might just be surprised because I definitely know that I was. One of my biggest arguments for the Los Angeles Clippers signing Russell Westbrook was that this guy was making virtually nothing. Even if he ended up being terrible for the Clippers, the risk always made sense because this team is one that needed a point guard and they needed one bad. Not only were the Clippers able to find a point guard, but they were able to find one that is capable of giving them all-star performances for under $1 million, and people were mad at that. I have a lot of respect for the Clippers organization, and I mean this in the nicest way possible when I say that this team really did need Russell Westbrook. It's easy to forget that the Clippers are the Clippers, especially when everybody's healthy. This team is a team that is infamous for load management and missed games. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have only played together for 38 games this season. That is literally less than half of an NBA season. A few weeks back, disaster would strike the injury-bitten Clippers yet again. March 21st, Paul George would suffer a disgusting right knee sprain against the Oklahoma City Thunder. When I saw the way that Paul George's leg bent, I thought for sure that we had seen the last of Paul George this year. I'm talking playoffs and everything. And while anything is possible, Woj himself would clear the air after the PG injury, saying that he would actually be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks and that the team would go from there. Injuries like this are exactly why you bring in a guy like Russell Westbrook. You could say a lot of bad things about Westbrook's tenure with the Los Angeles Lakers, but one thing that you can't say is that he wasn't available. As a matter of fact, Westbrook has never played less than 46 games in a season since becoming a professional. and he's only played less than 50 one time. Like I said, you can question a lot of things about Russ, but you cannot question this man's love for the game of basketball. Wednesday, March 29th against the Grizzlies, the Los Angeles Clippers would absolutely need Westbrook's availability, with the team being down both Paul George because of his knee sprain and Kawhi Leonard for personal reasons. The Grizzlies would also be down several key contributors. For the Grizzlies, there would be no Brandon Clark, Steven Adams, Tyus Jones, Jaren Jackson Jr., or Desmond Bane. Do you guys understand how much firepower that is for the Memphis Grizzlies? If you turn that 5 into a permanent starting lineup, though they wouldn't have a true small forward, they'd be pretty formidable. I'm always so impressed by how deep the Grizzlies are and how they fully embrace that next man up approach. Against the Grizzlies, Russell Westbrook would give us a 36-point, 10 assist, 4 rebound, and 2 block performance. He would also go 5 of 5 from deep with only 2 turnovers. About a month ago, Draymond Green was literally guarding Westbrook like this, and now he's out there going 5 of 5 from deep. The Clippers' ability to instill confidence into Westbrook and surround him with shooters while having the ability to go small reminds me of his old team in Houston after it traded Clint Capella. It's no coincidence that they actually have a few pieces from that same team, and thankfully one of those pieces from that team is finally getting opportunity, even if it's just for the moment. Against Memphis, Rocco scored 27 points, which would be good enough for a season high. Now, while I'm gassing up small ball, if you are a hungry big that can finish or rim run, then Russ is going to be your best friend. I can't tell you guys how many easy baskets that he's gotten Plumlee, Zubats, his Clipper teammates, and himself. As of late, there's been a noticeable burst in Westbrook's step, and defenses are struggling to stay in front of him more than usual. When he was asked about the uptick in explosiveness, he simply said, "It's that time of year, and I'm going to let people know." Watching Russ on the Clippers has been fun, and while it's important not to overreact to one game, and Russ is literally a roller coaster, stats aside, he's been really solid since joining the team. And yes, I am putting aside stats for a Westbrook argument, as dumb as that sounds.
Happened last night, and why this team is now 0-4 since it went and got Russell Westbrook. To my detriment, I'm still shaken by this because he is the human cloud.
It was really easy to jump to conclusions and push narratives when the Clippers first got Westbrook, when the reality was it was never Westbrook's fault that they were losing. It was that they just got a bunch of new pieces around the trade deadline that really didn't get an opportunity to figure everything out, which I'm still kind of in disbelief that this team was able to get a young high potential Bones Highland who was just drafted in the first round in 2021 for as cheap as they did. Huge shout out to the 20 points that he dropped in 22 minutes off of the bench against Memphis. Him and Russ do a great job of bringing tempo to the game for this team. Now, while I do love the pace, I would also love for this team to consistently get more stops. Russ, Rocco, and Bones went 16 of 18 from deep, and the Clippers only won against Memphis by 9 points. Guys, every game is different, but I don't know how often that Rocco, Bones, and Russ are going to go 6 of 18 from deep. Again, I'm no hater though. I'm loving the pace. I'm loving Batum moving into the starting lineup. Thank you, Ty Lue. This game was really a gigantic game for both teams, with the stability of the Western Conference being as fragile as it currently is. We are at the point where 1 or 2 games can knock you down a few spots entirely if you aren't playing your cards right. If I'm a Clippers fan, I want this team to do everything in its power to avoid that dreaded play-in tournament, because we all remember what happened last time that this team was in the tournament.
Pelicans are gonna win it! The Pelicans are going to the playoffs!
I think I speak for every team when I say that you don't want to be the one that grinds out this long 82-game season to become a top 8 seed only to be eliminated from the playoffs before they even begin. Guys, in the comments below, let me know what you think of everything. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.